Hi everyone, Alexandra Brumman from Ventibel Garam Associates coming to you today from my dining room of all places. School holidays, finding it difficult to find somewhere in the house where I get a little bit of peace and quiet. We're talking today about the importance of positive cash flow, and honestly we could talk about it for a while, and we could sit here and we could say it's important because it keeps the lights on and it keeps the doors open, and it means that you can pay your bills on time, and it's all about matching outgoings with ingoings and making sure that your incoming is faster than your outgoing and things like that. But really and truthfully, that's a fairly sterile video, and I don't suppose you'd watch much past the 1 minute mark because it's pretty boring. So I really thought I'd share with you my journey, because with my journey we've had the same problem in our business as plenty of other businesses have had as well. So one of the things, or one of the many things that we advise on with our clients, and we work a lot with clients in this space, is their cash flow, and we look after them and we help them to maintain a positive cash flow and improve where they maybe have dropped the ball a little bit and ended up in a position where they're struggling to make ends meet. Back in COVID, that's where the trouble started for us, and we had a situation where we, much like all the other accounting practices out there, had loads of work to do. Our clients were having to deal with a situation that was moving very, very quickly, and nobody really knew what was going to be happening and how it was going to be happening. And we took full advantage of that, just like every other accounting practice did as well. And we did quite well out of it. We had new clients, we had our existing clients who were thrilled with what we were doing. We had plenty of work to keep everybody going. It really was a very fortunate time. The problem was the other end of the spectrum, and it's probably stemmed from me and the relationships that I had built with clients over many, many years. So I began to be a little bit more lenient in terms of the amount of time I allowed clients to take to pay us. And so our billings were going out on time, but they weren't necessarily being paid within our trade terms. And that meant that it was taking longer to bring cash in the door. And to begin with, because some of these clients I've known for over 10 years, I was quite happy to do it. We could cover the shortfall. Everything was ticking along quite nicely. But then we had a bit of a perfect storm in terms of other factors hitting the business at the same time. And it generated a massive problem for us in terms of our cash outlay and our ability to bring it in the door. So we had a couple of staff members qualify, which for those of you in the know, you're qualifying as a chartered accountant. It's many years of very hard work, and quite deservedly the girls had to have a pay rise. And then we lost a couple of members of staff, which meant that we had to make annual leave payments and things like that on their payout. We had a few payout payments that had to be made. And then coming out of the Christmas period, we had a particularly quiet January. January is usually fairly quiet anyway, but this one was more quiet than usual. And on the back of that, we came back after the Christmas break to find that a couple of our clients had actually declared bankruptcy, owing us thousands of dollars. And we had to deal with all of this in a very short space of time, and it put a lot of pressure on us. Now, you might be sitting there saying, oh, you're an accounting practice, it's all knowledge-based. Aside from rent and salaries and wages, what could you possibly have in terms of an outgoing that would cause so many problems? Well, we also have loans. Like every other business, we've bought equipment and we've got certain bits and pieces that are sitting on loans, and the banks and lenders aren't quite as lenient when it comes to stretching out the payment plan as I was with my clients in terms of them paying us for the work that we had done for them. So we were then finding ourselves having a bit of trouble making our loan repayments. And then, of course, we have to pay the ATO because we've got staff. So we've got PAYG and super that needs to be paid. And we were beginning to struggle with that as well. So we entered into some payment arrangements to kind of manage the cash flow a little bit better. And then in that January, I wasn't working quite so much because we were weren't so busy, and I had an opportunity to sit down and have a really long, cold, hard look in the mirror and went, Alex, what are you doing? You are doing everything that you advise your clients not to do. So what are we going to do to turn it around and fix it? And obviously the very first thing that we looked at were our debtor days, and we started chasing up clients for payments and things like that. And I'll be honest and say it took all of 3, maybe 4 months, 5 months to get into trouble. And it's taken nearly a year, and we're 18 months and we're almost at the other end of it. So I suppose my point really here is that having a negative cash flow and going from a positive to a negative can actually happen incredibly quickly. It can happen in the blink of an eye. And fixing it takes a lot longer than it does getting into that situation in the first place. And from my personal growth perspective, I have found that I'm a lot more empathetic with clients now, because I can see just how quickly it can happen. And I can also understand the fear and the stress, because one of the things that I did, that I've seen happen with clients a lot, is I started working overtime. Now, I have 3 children under 5. And working overtime just meant that I was spending a lot less time with them. And when I did spend some time with them, I was grumpy and tired and stressed. And quite frankly, probably not the mother that you would want to be seeing in a Hallmark movie. And it really wasn't great for them, the fact that, you know, we had all this pressure sitting there. So something really had to give, and sorting out things like our debtor days and then addressing certain other areas. We went to our creditors and we said, look, you know, can you help us out on this one? And then we went to the ATO and said, look, can you help us out on this one? And we literally worked through everything, and we have made it through and coming out the other side. We had a lot of little itty bitty payments that have now ceased and finished off, and we can clear out, and things have improved significantly. And I'm back to working a normal schedule, because just for the record, working the extra hours doesn't necessarily mean to say the money's going to come in any quicker. It just means that you're working extra hours and you're not actually getting to where you need to be. So there's my story. And that is really, really, for me, hammers home the importance of having positive cash flow, because it really does mean that you're able to pay your bills on time. You are able to work a normal day at the office because you're not worrying all the time about how you're going to make the next salary payment. You are able to switch off when you go home and spend time with your family because you're not worrying about how you're going to make the extra ATO payment that you need to make. You are able to expand the business in the way that you want to. You're able to buy that new piece of equipment that you want to. But it can be very difficult to make sure that your incoming money is greater than and equal to your outgoing money. But it's not just that, it has to come in faster, because you have to be earning it faster than you're spending it. Otherwise, you will be very quickly into a negative cash flow position. So I hope you found the video a little bit more interesting than me just sitting here saying it's got to be quicker and slower and this and that. And hopefully sharing my story with you makes you feel a little better about knowing that you aren't the only one. Everybody else out there does the same thing. We are going to be launching a package in the next few weeks around this piece, around helping people, and it's driven a lot by my personal experience and how to turn it around and sort it out. In the interim, thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely day. If you'd like to contact me, you can contact me at our office or PM me through one of our social channels, and I will talk to you again soon. Take care. Thank you for watching. Bye.